I was going to actually film building this motor, but I did it over the course of 2 years. So the camera work that I did is just all over the place. I can't fix anything that I did, nor did I look at it, but I was waiting for paint. I was trying to edit it. It went like garbage. So in the course of a year and a half, I suggest if you're trying to build a motor to move, graduate college, find a new job, and then find another new job, then buy a house, and then move to said house, fix projects on said house while trying to build a motor. It's super easy, super fun, goes great. Building this motor, I had a little cam bearing fiasco where I was putting it together initially and the cam bearing was a little tight. Took that back, got that fixed. Otherwise it went pretty well. One thing I do remember that scared the living piss out of me, I was putting in the last piston, just doing the rotating assembly. And if you want to come here and look at this stack of washers I had right here, well, I was turning my wrench, you know, like you do to make sure you put it together all correctly, and it was going fine up until then. Well, something happened with this stack of washers that made it like miss, and I was just turning it for like 2 or 3 turns, like, what the crap did I just break? Thankfully, the stack of washers just like went weird and just made me have a heart attack. But what this is it's a 347. It's for my parents' Bronco. We've had this motor sitting around forever. The motor finally blew on the Bronco. I think it dropped a valve, and to put money into that versus build a motor that we actually want, we finally decided to do this. So there's that. My initial goal for this motor was to get it done before the new Broncos were on the road. That did not happen at all. If you add all those timelines up, it's kind of hard to do that. So what we have now is it's all assembled. I have an oil pump that we just put on. That's been our newest fiasco. We had oil pumps sitting around, put this on, it wasn't fitting, like it was rocking. You can see right here, I don't know, does it show up on the camera? I don't know. But we had to smack it, give it some clearance. So hopefully that's good. I don't understand why that's different between the Explorer, like oil pump and pan, which works on the Bronco, versus the factory oil pumps that were on all vehicles from that era. But yeah, so we're gonna paint this thing. It should go decent. The only issue is that some of these valves are a little loose. I think that's just a hydraulic pump issue. Other than that, we should be good. So we have it cleaned down one time. We're gonna tape it off and clean it again. And then we'll go through the process of painting it and make it look pretty. And then we'll see if I can get everything to pump with the new oil pump in there before this video is done. So thank you. Hopefully you enjoy. We're doing our last little bit of prep, so we're just wiping her down real quick. I made sure when I was getting ready and getting prepped, because you know, paint, the most important thing is prep. So I made sure to get the oldest tape of the good stuff so that it barely sticks to itself. And that was really fun. And then on top of that, this is tinfoil right here. I saw this on some Facebook page, I think. I was like, oh, that looks pretty neat, pretty easy. Not as easy as I thought it was gonna be. So everything's taped off. Our edges are crisp enough. We're gonna just avoid this back here. And then last wipe down and then some primer. I have primer currently not boiling, but under hot water so that hopefully it flows better, lays more evenly, all that pretty fun stuff. All right, here goes nothing. I got this VHT. It's supposed to be pretty good. I did a little test shoot right there on some cardboard, and this stuff's pungent, so this might be a good time. First one, you know, just nice and light. All right, well, we got our first coat of, or 2 coats of primer down. We got our color coming on the way. My dad's shaking it on the side. And it looks like it lays pretty good. It's about dry, just like those little areas where you spray around corners. The one thing is, like, these back corners here, I don't know how to get paint into. So hopefully that doesn't, you know, be the reason why paint peels up in the future. But I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of time for this to sit, look pretty in the corner and not running. So that shouldn't be an issue at all. All right, our first coat is done. Still kind of hard to get in some of the nooks and crannies, like there's a spot somewhere in there, but it's looking pretty good. The camera makes it look better and worse at the same time. So. One thing that I could probably mention is originally the block I think is like an 88 based. We got a 347 stroker again. I think I mentioned that. But we have GT40P heads on it. So I'm sure that'll be fun to try to get into there with the spark plug and paint it as well. But all's going pretty well. Getting a nice little headache going. But our color pile is all done here, and I opened the garage door. Probably not good for the paint, but she looks real nice. The one thing I did notice, we noticed it like most of the time we were building, one of these heads, the casting is so much different. I should have spent time, or my dad should have spent time, trying to throw him under the bus, on the other side knocking those flat, because I think it's this side. You can see there's some edges here. And we're gonna keep this in the shadow because that's where it's best at. But this side, you can't really tell, is a whole lot more bubbly from however that sand casting went. So we're gonna let her cook a little bit for, you know, the 30-ish minutes, and then time for a clear. All right, 'tis time for clear. We're gonna go, I think 2 coats probably of clear, and should be nice and easy. And then let her sit and peel the tape all off afterwards. So we'll get back at that. Well, it is the time. Now that it's baked for a little bit, the paint says it's supposed to be 60% humidity or less. It's 95, almost 100, I think. So I'm sure it's fine, but it is time to start peeling some here. I don't exactly know how I'm gonna cover this back up to store it for the next couple days, but I do have sitting right there the painted up intake and all that fun stuff. So we might just do a little mock-up to make myself feel better about it. So I'll get to it, have some fun, and hopefully my paint job looks great the whole way. And okay, nope, that was just, ooh, that's no bueno. That is peeling really good. That's not tape. That is just peeling. So that's cool. I'm just gonna assume that it's just because this is super smooth. I am hoping, because that is, it's all paint. Shoot, dude. All right, well, I'll see how the rest of this goes, and if I find anything terrible again, I'll do something, I don't know. The rest of it peeled off really good, so like the same thing on the bottom side. You can see the beautiful rotating assembly. I think it's an Eagle kit. The oil pump got some stains on it, trying to clearance the pan. But I think the other issue, the bigger issue on my end was not going slow enough. It's a little gummy, so I'm a little concerned about that, but hopefully it dries out pretty good. I'm assuming that's probably a humidity thing. So I'm gonna put the pan back on. I just took that off because the gasket needed to be a certain height to get this to fit. I hope that's all right. But I think it looks really good. I really hope it holds up. One of the comments I made about it's gonna look pretty sitting by its side, my dad wasn't a big fan of, but I appreciate his help. And my brother, he was helping here mask everything off too. So another like big pointer that I took away from this is those little earplugs that I got thrown everywhere basically are freaking awesome. I don't know who came up with that idea, but I wish I was that smart. But I highly recommend it if that's what you're doing. So we're gonna grab some things here. Maybe if I can muscle this over. But one of the things I think I mentioned at the beginning was I just need to go through and tighten all of them, but there's a few of them. That one's actually being pressed, but there's a little bit of play. Again, that one's not tight, but there's a little bit of play in some of these that is concerning a little bit, but hopefully as it rolls over and I prime the oil system, it should be fine. So yeah. Most of this, the whole, I don't know, roll or top end assembly, push rods, rockers, I got new springs, lifters, all this stuff was off of that Explorer motor that we stole and tore apart. So there's a little bit of gum. I tried to get that off as best I could, but so there's a little bit. At least it looks like it's, you know, deciding to be that way. I got the oil pump on. Unfortunately, I think I talked about it. The like bolts here had some interference, so I had to change them out, the old ones. That fixed most of my issue. I'm sure I probably would have got away with it now that I kind of gave that little thump to the pan right there. So we're good there. The next issue is this block is a 88. The oil pan is a Explorer from 2001. So this is interfering somehow. This is the pickup tube from the 2001. I don't know why that is. So I got a little plastic bag plus a bunch of petroleum jelly. I think I have like, it's the pan depth or the pickup depth is 9 inches. The pan depth is like 8 7/8. So I'm definitely wrong there. But I just want to see where it is. So if I can like tweak it or whatever that might be to get it so that it is happy. I don't know if I'm gonna have to come in here and cut it and weld it and just like cut out just a 1/8 inch of material, probably more like a 1/4. So we're gonna give this a test run and see how it goes. So obviously we have interference, but it looks like we're right in the center, so I don't know how I'd be able to tweak that to make that happy again, because obviously right there. Engine grease probably would have been a better option, but I didn't have that, so I went with petroleum jelly. Oh boy. So we'll see. Being that I do have to cut and weld this to drop this down, I'm probably just gonna cut this video here. I have to get a bunch of little tinkery stuff. So like rear main seal, I screwed that up the last time that I was pulling it apart to put it back together because of the camshaft, and literally it was most of the way together before that camshaft thing was caught or bothered me enough to matter. So I ruined that getting it out. Gotta get a new one. I need to get a dipstick. Need to get an oil filter. Would like to get a good one too, not just some crappy parts house one. What's some other stuff? Either way, I'm probably just gonna cut this video here. I appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed or learned something or just got a kick out of the headaches that I'm causing myself, because this is the first time I'm building a motor completely. I've done most things otherwise, but not all the way from the ground up. So thank you for watching and have a great day.